All right, guys, before we dive into today's show, which is basically just my message and reasoning to Ryan Poles of why the Bears should keep and pay Jaylon Johnson, sign him to a contract extension. If you're with me, if you want that to happen, subscribe to the channel. If not, voice crap, voice is struggling. Wow. Tell me why in the comments. Why would you not pay Jaylon Johnson? Maybe you just want to trade him. Maybe you don't think he's worthy of a contract, whatever the case may be. Subscribe if you want to keep him. If not, tell me why in the comments section. To pay or to trade Jaylon Johnson? That is the discussion on Chicago Bears. Now, my name is Harrison Graham. Let's talk about it. Jaylon Johnson has made it clear repeatedly, in fact, that he wants a new deal with the Bears. He wants to be in Chicago. He literally called Chicago his home recently. He, as of now, is currently set to be a 2024 free agent. And, of course, the NFL trade deadline is looming. Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween. We're getting very, very close to that deadline. And Jaylon Johnson, at least for the Bears, has been the hot name. Teams are always looking to bolster their secondaries. Jaylon Johnson is a legitimate coverage corner in this league that can play at a high level. He can be a CB1. He can be a high-level CB2 if that's what you need. And the reason I really want to talk about this today is because Jaylon Johnson in the Bears win over the Raiders. First of all, he was swagged out with the orange long sleeves. Really good look under the navy jerseys. But after his pick six, which he had 2 picks on the day, he did one of these to the camera. Like, he's stacking bills. Like, hey, yeah, keep me, pay me. I want to be here. And, of course, there was debate. Did he do that intentionally? Did he not? Well, he did. He said, yeah, I was sending a message. Damn right, 100%. I've been wanting to get to the table. I know who I am. I know I can play this game at a high level, and I feel like I deserve to get paid like that. Look, we can debate whether or not that was the right way to go about things, whether or not you think that was cocky or arrogant or whatever. But Jaylon Johnson has done everything right up to this point. By Ryan Poles, by his teammates, as a player in this league, he has handled things very well. Very well. I do not have a problem with him sending a message to Ryan Poles in that way. He's not saying, hey, you suck at your job or something like that. He's just like, hey, man, I can make plays for you. Pay me. I want to be here. I don't want to play somewhere else. I want to be here. So, again, we can debate on the optics of it, but I have not minded how Jaylon Johnson has done things. And, in fact, I think he's done things in the right way more often than not since he's been here. And I want to ask you, because it's a hot topic. There's a lot of boomer mentality of like, oh, that's not the right way to do things. And I get it. I'm not full like, Gen Z or something like that. Like, oh, it's just players can do whatever they want. Like, I'm not saying that, but I was okay with it here. Did you like Jaylon Johnson's in-game message? Did you like the stacking dollar bills and kind of sending that little message to Ryan Poles? Type L if you liked it. Type D if you disliked it. Curious to see what you guys think down in the comment section. Here's why I'm fine with it. Number one, he did not hold out a training camp. He absolutely could have. He could have. Roquan Smith did it last year, and he was valid in doing so. Jaylon Johnson's arguably your best defensive player. He could have held out a camp. He didn't. He missed a couple weeks of OTAs. No big deal. Number two, he said he will not request a trade. He hasn't. He said, I haven't to this point. I'm not going to request a trade. He could easily do that if he wasn't happy with negotiations. You know who did that? Roquan Smith, which I didn't even really blame him, to be honest. Number three, he called Chicago his home. He's like, yeah, I want to be here. This is my home. That's pretty significant. Like, he doesn't want to leave these guys. Like, he wants to see this through. He's been in a lot of losing football with the Bears. He wants to be here when it turns around. He wants to be a reason it does turn around. He's been a great player and a great teammate on top of all of that as well. Like, it's not like he just says and acts the right way. He's actually a good football player, too. I mean, this year he's having his best year yet. He's got 15 tackles, always been a willing tackler. 3 breakups, 2 INTs. Quarterbacks are completing less than 53% of their passes when they target him. The QB rating when targeted is 28.4. That is extraordinarily low. To put into context how low that is, and low as in good for Johnson, bad for the quarterbacks who are throwing his way, if you spike the ball on every snap, if a quarterback goes 0 for 50 and he just spikes the ball on all 50 attempts, you have a 39.6 rating. So what does that tell you? When they throw at Jaylon, he's taking the football away or a turnover's happening in some regard. So Jaylon Johnson is a guy you pay. Period. End of story. He's a 24-year-old corner who is still getting better every single year. Yes, he's had some minor injury concerns that's caused him to miss a few games here and there, but nothing that should have you have major cause for concern. He is a number one corner in this league. Look at the highest paid corners in this league. He's better than some of these guys when you look at the top 10 list. Now, I would not pay him $20 million per year because he has missed a few games with injuries, because he hasn't been a guy that always takes the football away, but he has been a consistent, sticky cover corner. And now that they're playing more man especially, you're seeing those ball skills on display even more when they do throw at him, which isn't very often. I thought Jaquan Brisker made a great point a couple weeks ago. Like, yeah, they don't throw at 33. Watch the games. They don't throw his way. And when they do, good things happen for the Bears. So I don't know what that price tag looks like. I don't know if you can get him at 15, 16 a year. I don't think it's going to cost 20 a year. But if I'm the Bears, if I'm Ryan Poles, like, this is a no-brainer to me. Like, this is a move that I am making. More on this in a few moments, but guys, I've been telling you about Prize Picks, our daily fantasy sports sponsor here at Chicago Bears Now. I'm going to continue to tell you about Prize Picks because it's very easy, it's very fun, it's very simple. Here's how it works. You pick 2 to 6 players on any given entry, and this can be NFL, college football, NBA, college basketball when that starts, which is Rolly's favorite, by the way, and a whole lot more, Major League Baseball playoffs, and if they will go for more or less than their Prize Picks projection. So I already got a pick 2 out for this next week. I got more receiving yards on DJ Moore's projection. He barely hit it this week. I think he gets a little bit more involved, so I'm going to go the more there. And then Puka Nacua had a monster game this week. Cooper Kupp did not. They've been kind of alternating, so I'm going to have that be flipped, where Cooper Kupp goes off for LA, but Nacua is held in check a little bit. So less than for Puka Nacua there, 20 to win 60 there, 10 to win 30. You can win 3 times your money on a 2-player entry. If you go up to 6 players, you can win 25 times your money. So check out Prize Picks today, prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use our code CLNS to get a deposit match up to $100. It's Prize Picks. That link is in the comments and in the description. Okay, I want to take the conversation too here because Ryan Poles is the general manager. When he took this job, he talked about his roster building philosophy, and this is a direct quote. He says, "I truly believe in homegrown talent. I truly believe in drafting the right players and developing them here. That will help us in the long run." So my message to Poles is this. Yes, I get it. You didn't draft Jaylon Johnson, but he's homegrown talent. And by the way, he called Roquan Smith homegrown talent before he traded him. He's like, yeah, I believe in homegrown talent. That's what Roquan is. Don't make the same mistake twice with Roquan. And I get it. Roquan demanded a trade. He wanted to reset the market. You were just starting to rebuild. To an extent, I get it. And, I think you've recovered okay at linebacker. TJ Edwards is a nice deal. Probably overpaid for Tremaine Edmonds, but you got a second-round pick out of the Roquan deal. So, I still think it probably would have made more sense to keep Roquan, but I understood that one a little bit. Don't make that mistake here. Don't do it, man. Keep Jaylon Johnson. He's 24. He wants to be here. He has not requested a trade. He says he won't request a trade. He just wants an adequate payday. And I don't think that's too much to ask for a player of his caliber. I think Ryan Poles hopefully will learn from that mistake or miscalculation, whatever you want to call it with Roquan, and make the right decision here, and that would be to pay Jaylon Johnson. What do you guys think? Not what you would do, what you predict will happen. What will Ryan Poles do with Jaylon Johnson? Will he trade him before the trade deadline, or will he pay him? Doesn't necessarily have to pay him before the trade deadline, but will he commit to keeping him and paying him? T for trade, P for pay. What say you? Let us know in the comments section. And again, Jaylon Johnson has a track record. He's been very good. I mean, he had 15 pass breakups as a rookie in this league. 9 breakups the next year. Last year, he missed a few more games with injury, 7 breakups. This year, he's been great. We showed the stats earlier in terms of the advanced coverage stats, how quarterbacks are really struggling throwing at him. He got 2 interceptions yesterday against the Raiders. This is a CB1. Is he a top 5 corner in this league? Probably not. Top 15, though? Yeah, he's top 15. He's a top 10, top 15 corner in the NFL, and he's playing like a top 5, top 7 corner this year. There's no doubt about that. So I look at this too. You could really have a really strong corner room. Tyreek Stevenson's been coming along. I like what I've seen from Kyler Gordon in the nickel, and Terrell Smith, before he got mono, when he got some opportunities, he was flashing as well. I mean, you got 3 or 4 guys that you feel pretty good about, and that trio with Stevenson and Gordon could be really special potentially. Not for sure. We still got to see Gordon and Stevenson come along, but Jaylon's there. Like, he's at a high standard, and he's still improving. If Gordon and Stevenson can keep improving, then that could be a special group. And bottom line, too, you want to talk about roster building, philosophy, or whatever, you need blue chip players. Whether or not you think Jaylon Johnson's the top 5 corner in this league, you can debate that among yourselves. He's your second best player on this football team, though. DJ Moore is the only player in my eyes that you could make a strong argument is better than Jaylon Johnson. Seriously, I mean, do you want to say like Tevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright? Like, sure, Darnell Wright could get there, but right now he's not there. Tevin Jenkins, yeah, he's a really good player, but he's got major injury concerns. Jaylon Johnson, minor injury concerns. Like, who else are we talking about? Like, Cole Kmet's not a better player than Jaylon Johnson. Darnell Mooney's not a better player. Khalil Herbert, I love Justin Fields' talent, but he's not a better player than Jaylon Johnson. Like, he's your second best player, man. You can rebuild with him. It's okay. You don't have to let everyone go and always trade for draft cap and try to do it that way. Like, pay Jaylon Johnson, commit to him. You got plenty of draft capital. It's okay. That is what I would do. That is my message to Ryan Poles. All right, guys, that's it. Jaylon Johnson, we're keeping an eye on this. About a week until the trade deadline, so hopefully he stays in Chicago. Again, if the Bears make a trade, we will be going live. So hit that subscribe button, youtube.com/BearsNow.